The day the magic chose me. I was supposed to be studying the charm that turns objects into birds. Instead, I turned my professor into one. It happened in the dim glow of the wizard's study at 2 a.m., when the candles had long since melted into puddles of wax and the books were all whispering secrets they didn't want anyone to hear. The air was thick with the scent of old parchment and something more elusive, maybe the lingering traces of spells cast long ago, or perhaps just the weight of too many sleepless nights. Professor Thisalvik had been demonstrating the avian transfiguration charm for hours, his voice a dry rasp as he explained how the spell required a precise flick of the wrist and a heart full of longing. I could see the exhaustion in his posture, the way his robes hung slightly loose on his frame. He was a man who had spent decades teaching this very same lesson, and yet here he was, still trying to make it matter. I was tired. I was bored. And I was definitely not paying attention when he said, "Now, students, remember, this is not just about magic. It's about intent." My mind was elsewhere, on the upcoming exams, on the way my roommate had been acting strangely lately, on how much I missed my mother's cooking. The next thing I knew, there was a flash of silver light and a loud squawk that echoed through the stone walls of the study. Professor Thisalvik was no longer standing in front of the chalkboard. He was perched on it, flapping his arms like a disgruntled parrot. The sound was so unexpected, so utterly absurd, that for a moment I couldn't move. "Oh no," I whispered. "Oh no, oh no, oh no." My heart pounded in my chest as I stared at the bird-shaped figure that had once been my professor. It felt like time had stopped. Or maybe it was just my brain trying to process what had happened. The other students burst into laughter. Some were crying. One girl was so overcome with giggles that she fell off her chair. Professor Thisalvik, meanwhile, was glaring at me with eyes that looked like they could burn through stone. His beak opened and closed in a way that was almost comical, but I could see the fury behind it. "You," he said, his voice a mix of fury and disbelief, "you have turned me into a bird." I didn't mean to." I stammered. "I just wanted to practice the charm." "This is not practice," he said, flapping wildly as he tried to reach the floor. "This is a catastrophe." His wings beat against the air with such force that dust puffed up from the stone floor. The next few hours were a blur of chaos and embarrassment. The headmaster arrived, his face like thunder. He demanded an explanation. I gave it, or at least, I tried to. But no amount of apologizing could undo what had been done. I could feel the weight of every eye in the room on me, and I knew that this moment would follow me for a long time. In the end, Professor Thisalvik was turned back into a human, though he refused to speak to me for weeks. And I was given a warning: magic is not a game. It chooses who it wants, and sometimes, that choice is not kind. But here's the thing: I didn't just survive that night. I learned something important. Magic isn't about power or control. It's about understanding, and sometimes, it's about being chosen. Comment your take.